All righty, class. Well, here we are, finally, right? Week 6, right before summer break. I know everybody's tired. I know everybody needs a break. I'm right there with you guys, and gals. So let's finish strong, okay? All of us, team effort, right? Remember, the sooner you get your week 6 assignment in, the sooner you'll know where your grade stands. So that way, we can make sure that everybody's successfully finishing this course. Now, on that same note, if you have not submitted your week 5 as of yet, please do not forget to submit that no later than tonight at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. Then we go straight in to week 6. And remember, the cutoff time for week 6 submission is 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sunday. However, my suggestion to everybody is give yourself an hour earlier than that. So tell yourself it's due at 10:59 p.m. Central Standard Time, because what I've seen is that the website gets slow, right, at about 30 minutes to the half hour to midnight, because so many students are trying to submit at the last minute, right? Especially in those last 15 minutes, it is like a standstill. So the system gets loaded. So that way you also give yourself that extra hour. You double check your link. Okay, does everybody have access? Do I have everything? Double check your work, spell check, this, that, and the other. Make sure you give a good job for your week 6. Make sure you knock out that week 6 quiz. If you haven't replied to classmates in previous discussion weeks, knock that out. Class, remember, your grade, 35% is quizzes. Excuse me, 30% is quizzes. 35% is discussion forum. And the remaining 35 are your assignments, okay? So there's a lot of weight and value on your quizzes because you only have 3, and your discussion forums because you only have 3, and those make up 65% of your grade, right? So each of those have a lot of weight on them. Your assignments, you have 6 of them, and those are worth 30%. It doesn't have as much weight, okay? You got to be looking at your syllabus. You got to be looking at, hey, what do I need to do to succeed? Not just in this class, but in the next class, and in my next job move, right? I want you all to be thinking about, this is the hospitality industry. This is professionalism. This is where communication is critical. This is where double checking and spell checking your work is critical. You can't go out into the industry and not be spell checking work, crossing your T's, dotting your I's, doing your proper research, citing information. If you've taken ideas or concepts from other places, you need to cite that. You need to put it in parentheses if you're quoting something specific, right? Think about this. If you were, say, let's just put this into I'm talking about plagiarism, right? And taking other people's work without giving them credit. Say you had this awesome concept for a restaurant and you were talking to a friend about it, and all of a sudden, you didn't have money for it, and you're talking about, yeah, one day I'm going to get I'm going to hopefully get a loan, and I'm going to open this place up, and da-da-da. And this friend who we've talked to about all the time, or thought was a friend, or who could be anybody, right, comes along and just takes that idea from you, right? Or say you're a chef at a restaurant and you've created this fantastic recipe, and somebody comes along and just takes that recipe and claims it as theirs, and now they're, selling it as their best hot sauce, and it's yours and it's your recipe. So you can't take people's work, right? You have to give credit where credit is due. So all of this to say is, let's step it up. Let's finish strong in this last week. You are entering in an industry that is not always the easiest, right? It's hospitality and restaurant management, right? We're talking about dealing with customers, dealing with employees, dealing with, wow, what happens when the food isn't ready for the party? And what is the excuse, right? How are you going to do that, right? We need to start applying and thinking about how we're going to be, we're in this industry. We need to start to push it, because guess what? If you have an event for guests and you don't follow through, what's going to happen? Those guests are going to write bad reviews, and all of a sudden you're not going to get the same customers that you got because, we had an event for a wedding or a graduation party, and well, everything was late, right? Or there weren't enough people to serve us because people didn't show up. You got to be doing putting your all into your class and your studies, and moving forward if you want to be successful, right? You got to push it, push it, push it, push it. Okay, so let us hop into week 6 slideshow. We're talking about implementation, and you do not have a discussion forum, so let's just focus on knocking on that quiz. I would get your readings done today, knock out your quiz, and then work on yet week 6 assignment and try to have that as a goal in by Saturday, right? Today's Thursday. Give yourself a goal of getting that in by Saturday night, right? Sooner the better. If you can get it in tonight, great. Tomorrow, awesome. Just make sure that if you're submitting late and close to the ticker, double check your link. There is no resubmissions there. That's it. Double check your link. Spell check your work. Class closes. We have to have grades into our bosses who pass it on to the registrar's office. And then the office is closed because it's summer break. So there's no room for, broken links or resubmissions. So let's make sure we finish strong. Okay. Let us hop on in to week 6 here. And as you can see, we're talking about that implementing IT. You've got your interactive lesson and reading chapter 12. And then, of course, our assignment, okay, which we're going to be talking about a system upgrade. So I'm going to hop into this first so we can cover it, and then we'll go into our slideshow. Of course, the quiz as well. So here we go, week 6. Make sure, that you are also putting some good effort in here, okay? We want to make sure that you're not just trying to get by on the bare minimum. It never works. So here we go. Every business needs to evaluate whether or not it makes sense to upgrade to new technologies. We've been covering this all week. I've sent you and covered information about how C-suite positions are only looking into technology, but budget is there, right? But budget's on the forefront. Technology is on the forefront of what they're looking into, but budget is there. I'll pull that report up again if you guys want to take a brief look at it. I think it could be helpful. So this is both true of both hardware and software, right? Technology is constantly advancing. We all know, constantly getting promoted to buy a new cell phone, right? And then maybe somebody has an older cell phone and something is not going to be working on that iPhone anymore. Now you have to upgrade. What happens when that type of message happens at your establishment? You don't have the choice of upgrading or not, right? So despite being functional, an obsolete POS system is of little value to a restaurant, right? So use the document that is linked below to complete your assignment. So hopping in and what we are going to do. So do you feel that food service organizations should continually upgrade or replace systems in order to keep abreast of changes in information technology? Make a case in favor of for or against. So either you say, yes, this is why, or no, this is why not. Okay. And you need to provide details and explanation as to why you support this or why you say it is not needed. Okay. Use at least 3 paragraphs. Remember, a paragraph consists of about 4 to 5 sentences. Okay. So you need to make sure that we're getting a solid response here. Be sure to include any links to information that you research. Also, remember, do not copy and paste work from other websites and put that in your own words. Okay. We need to make sure that you're reading information, digesting it, and putting it out in your own words. Okay, that's how we learn. That's how you convey messages, right? We read and then we explain it to somebody. Sometimes if you have struggled writing, oftentimes one of the best suggestions is talking about it. Okay, even record yourself if you need to, or talk to somebody about it, right? Because sometimes it's hard to start writing, but it's easy to talk about it, right? Okay, I just read this article. Yeah, this was really cool. Technology advancements are really important because. And so it's easier to talk and think sometimes as opposed to writing. Sometimes we get hung up on the writing component, right? And it's like, I don't know what to say. This doesn't sound right. I'm not good at writing or blah, 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 blah. Let's, start thinking about, okay, I'm going to record myself and then I'm going to jot down those ideas. Okay. Or you do talk to text and then you, of course, have to revise that. And then you start going in, okay, using Grammarly, which is a site that helps you write and does spell check and all of those, proofreads your paper for plagiarism, checks your spelling and grammar issues, right? Use the tools that are at your fingertips, right? They're free. They're there on the internet. Help them help you. All righty. Okay. So that's what we're looking for. We want to make sure that this is a solid response. Again, 3 paragraphs, and paragraphs should be 4 to 5 sentences each. All right. Complete sentences. Do your research. Take the time and make a case for or against. All right. Next up, we'll hop on into the implementation factor. Y'all know the deal here. Week 6, week 6, week 6. So let us get straight in it. This is just our learning objective, so we're good on that. All right, the build stage, right? We know what that means. We're literally building, right? This build stage of systems development involves programming, testing, and transferring data from the old system to the new system. Remember, if we're talking about this new potential establishment that might be looking at investing, right? Well, what happens when you transfer to a completely different system? What's the learning curve like there for your employees or for the people that are using that? How long does it take to get training, set up, transfer over? Okay. So main types of testing are unit testing of individual modules, system testing of the whole system by developers, and then user acceptance testing, right? By the business or the customer. Sufficient time for testing must be built in using a quality assurance system to ensure the delivered system is of the right quality. So quality assurance is really kind of like a checks and balances. Okay, we need to make sure this, we need to verify this. It's verified, yes. Okay, it goes back and we get the okay, right? So the implementation stage involves managing the changeover from the old system to the new system, as we just talked about. So there are 2 options here, right? You can either do a direct changeover or parallel. So parallel running, you have less risk, okay? But it's a lot more high cost because you have both systems running parallelly, right? Together at the same time. So we come in, we've got the old system, we're going to start integrating the new, but here during this overlap time, we have both of those running, okay? And as this continues, this peters out, old system drops out, new system keeps going, right? Now, old system to new system, direct changeover, boom. Low cost, high risk. If the system goes down, something doesn't work, you're screwed, for lack of a better term, okay? Old system, new system, something goes down in that new system, you still have that old system, you're still working in it, you're all good, okay? So this is where, again, if you're looking at that running parallelly, right? Okay, you're going to gradually introduce those new systems, right? New apps, new programs, et cetera, okay? And you generally do a test run in one department as opposed to the entire office, okay? That's how it looks from a larger above scene. You just start with one department, okay? You're starting implementing, and then once you've tested, that's all worked out, the kinks out, then you expand. All right, and go for that larger scale. Now, causes of IT project failure, right? Excuse me. Information systems, might fail. We've got forgetting the human issues, right? Our brains, whether we're in a kitchen prepping something, we get focused. Okay, I go in, I wash my hands, I get my station set up, I go get my pots, I go get my ingredients, and this is the move I'm in, right? Oh, wait, you throw in a new program, and now I actually have to go through, let's say it was COVID or something, right? And I have to go through a specific door. I have to change out of my clothes, put in new clothes. I have to get sprayed down. I also have to get sterilized, x-rayed, and then I can start, but we also have new sanitation programs that are implemented to prevent any cross-contamination. So your brain is wired to do what's comfortable, what it knows doing, right? Just like anybody. And as soon as you start to change things, there's a tendency in the normalcy to do something that is like out of habit, right? Something that you're doing out of habit, normal, but you need to go this way. So there's that human issue, right? How long does it take to train to get through it, to understand the flow and methodology of working, okay? To use the system. Now, you also have actual, this idea of rapid application development, okay? Which is, as it sounds, rapid application development, right? Going something, we're making an app and we're doing it really quickly, right? Cutting corners, boom. but some corners can't be cut, okay? Especially in design, structure, physical structure. Think about that always, like design, physical structure. If you cut some corners, you could screw it up for later, okay? And this can create a system failure, all right? Documentation might be omitted during a RAD, rapid application development, right? Oh, I don't just go for it. Okay. Oops, shoot, what happened? Yips. Now we need to go fix the problem. Don't even know how I did that. Problems, right? Now, again, another one could be the builder implementation stage that we have another information system failure is computer resources are inadequate. Simply, the project managers need staff to check that the server can handle the load of the critical times of day, right? We just talked about that even with our system here. Can it handle that load? Whew, thousands of orders coming in, right? Think about that. Think about peak time of your businesses. Are you a brunch and lunch spot? Are you a late night food order? Are you a seafood joint that closes, around 8 or 9 every day? But your peaks are, 6 to 7, right? And or are you in a to-go business and deliver a ghost kitchen, and you get a lot of late night orders, and boom, those big orders, dinner crash comes in, server can't hold it, boom, what just happened? Lost out on a bunch of money, sales, potentially many other aspects, unhappy customers, bad reviews, et cetera, right? If a system crashes, can't handle the flow, it's an issue. All right. And then poor management of change processes. So the staff who are involved with the new system should be trained that they can use the software easily and understand reasons for its introduction, right? Because unless you have a good reason for introducing new technology equipment and explain it to the staff or the employees that are going to be using it, it's like, why are we changing this? Everything worked. Ever had that situation before? I have been where I'm like, why are we changing this? This is great. Well, this is going to be more efficient, more effective. It's going to streamline this and we're going to get better results. Okay, now I understand why. Now I'm on board. But without the knowledge and understanding of why we're changing, I might, as an employee, feel frustrated. I'm really good at what I'm doing. I feel comfortable. I know what I'm doing. Now I'm scared because I don't know what I'm going to do. And a new project can be intimidating, right? So understanding that, how you can make sure that you're also informing those new trainees, why, how, okay? And then, of course, maintenance phase. You've got, this is really just like, once we're live in action, keeping it alive, maintaining, okay? Are errors coming out? Are you getting dead pages, web pages landing? Are systems timing out? Not even load, the circle of death just spinning, right? So you've got to make sure that those any type of issues that are going, right, that they are found and analyzed, right? If it's a serious problem, they've got to resolve that immediately with a patch, okay? Meaning that they just put a patch on it to solve the issue and so that it can keep going. But then, you got to do background work to actually then fix that and re-release it later, okay? Post-implementation review is kind of what it sounds like. This assesses the system's development after, we've got some recorded information and saying, how is this going? Has this been successful? What are we seeing from it? What have we noticed from it? Okay. Change management can be considered at the software and informational system and organization levels as well. So when we get into this maintenance phase, right, we're talking about managing when live. Now, software is the management that involves the managing the process of modification to software thought to be necessary by business users or developments, okay? And information system management involves managing the change from the old to the new information system. Okay, so the 4 main alternative methods of changeover are immediate cutover, parallel running, phased implementation, and pilot system, all right? Organizational change management deals with managing changes to the organizational processes, okay, structures, and their impact on organizational staff and culture. Okay, business process managers, I've never seen this acronym before, but maybe it's common in other lines of business, provides a methodology for change management in the organization. Okay, that business strategies will embrace business decisions, broad objectives, direction of the organization, and how it might cope with that change. Okay, where's the business going? Why? And what is the reasoning behind this? Okay. Now, why does a company need an information system strategy that's rooted in business needs? Because it meets the demands for the information to support the business processes and provides the applications for key functional areas of business. Is that order taking? Is that, where is that? Is that accounts? Is that inventory? Is it payroll? Where in the spectrum are we looking for, right? Is it communication throughout chains? Where is that? If an organization does not have a clear picture of what its strategy is, remember, how are you going to know what's right? What's our strategy? Well, your strategy isn't clear. Well, then how can we really help you get to make those decisions that are going to support the direction of the organization that you want to go? If you don't know what the end goals are, it's hard to get there, right? So that's why it needs to be so clear and important from the get-go. Where's the direction of your business going? Why? And what do you need in order to do that? All righty. So now, when we get into business strategy, right? These have the potential to be subjected to sudden and unpredictable change, okay? Or evolutionary change, meaning it's going to change slowly over time, okay? Both information system and information technology strategies are needed to support changing businesses, okay? They need to be capable of adaptation and change if they continue to reflect existing business strategy at any time, okay? It must be embedded in an organization's business strategy to be a fundamental part of it, especially in these days and ages. What if you didn't hop on the third-party platform app deliveries? Where did your sales go during pandemic? What if you didn't hop onto QR codes? What if you didn't hop into contactless delivery? What if you didn't hop into alternative milks for your coffee shop? What if you didn't hop into gluten-free? What if you didn't hop into different trends and you're not getting Apple Pay or Quick Pay or whatever other apps, right, for making payments easier? If you're not on that, and that's not a part of your system, how are you going to go and keep up with the times? We're in a different world now, right? With technology, trust me, it's going crazy. So as we talked about here, you're going to follow and respond to prompts. The prompts, as we talked about, this is not the response to your classmates. This is we just have the actual week 6 assignment here, which we already covered. As we pop on in, I'm going to pull up the information report on technology that I pulled up at was week 3, but I'm going to pull that up so you guys can see that again. Because I do think it gives, remember, we're talking about upgrades and stuff like that, and technology. That's the week 6 assignment. So I want to make sure that you're thinking about doing your research, right? Like when you go for a research or this, like benefits, pros and cons. And remember, you have to be thinking realistically also about the budget. And is that realistic? Because this, I think this report is going to show you a little bit about those values. Let me just find, it's the technology report. Sorry, I downloaded it and I just have to make sure that it comes up. By the way, this is also, for moving forward in the industry, keeping on top of important information like this is so critical. I get emails every day about staying up in the industry to know what's going on, right? Otherwise, I might not know. And even within sectors of the industry that, aren't necessarily something that I have a super interest in, but because it impacts the industry, I need to know about that, right? And that's how we should be approaching this. So this, again, the 2023 Technology Restaurant Outlook. Nation's Restaurants News is a great source for information within the industry. All right. So again, what's next for restaurant tech? Okay. We know it's wild, but look at this. All right. Who we surveyed. Now, again, this talks a little bit about, we broke this down a bit, who is actually getting surveyed here. Chain restaurants between 2 and 100 units. So that makes up a big bulk of that, but also independent restaurants with a single unit represents 21%, which is a large chunk as well. So, but when we do see that, again, we see the job function here 60% of the respondents were coming from C-level executives. So if you were owner or the head of your, department, owner operator, chef owner, baker owner, pastry chef owner, et cetera, you would fall into that category if you're making decisions about your business, right? So now when we get into this, key findings, budgets are tight, right? But operators boldly agree that technology will help them achieve their goals, but most cite costs as a roadblock to making needed investments. Many are also considering not only the price tag for hardware and software, but also for the employees who could implement and operate new solutions, right? Because there's a cost to that as well. But they're investing anyway. Most people plan to invest in new technology over the next 12 months, mostly looking to grow sales, okay? That top line focus on will drive interest in digital marketing solutions like loyalty programs, but plenty of operators will look for ways to streamline operations and save on labor as well. Now, this is where I want to go back to a little bit of that. We talked about those loyalty programs. So that's part of thinking about your operation, your system, right? And if you're doing an upgrade on a system and you get those loyalty programs, this is what this was talking about. Let me go back in here. So here. So when we talk about upgrading those systems, right? Okay. Digital delivery, in-person order, all go to the same place, right? How do we think that we can manage that? Is there going to be, what if they're not going to the same place, right? So if you've got delivery, digital, in-person orders going to different locations, how do we streamline that? Should we invest in technology to help that so we can be orderly and consistent and I know what to crush out first and what can wait? Okay. You can fully own the delivery experience. Maybe you've decided, no, we're not going to be a part about Grubhub X, Y, and Z. We're doing our own delivery experience. We're going to advertise it. It's all in-house, but we're also going to be we need our software to be able to handle that and manage that, right? Is that something that is viable? Employee management, of course, depending upon how many staff you're running, but thinking about what's a little bit of that, what's needed there as well. And then the rewards membership and loyalty programs, right? Thinking about ones that have those loyalty programs, right? Compatible reward system. If you have a program and software and hardware that can development this and run this, merge this, is that going to be valuable? Do your loyalty programs, do they gain points and then they are repeat customers? You offer incentives. Is it going to be important for to upgrade a system to be able to manage and handle that? Or are we going to be keeping all of that, just tally that in a spreadsheet? Do we have the manpower? Do we need it? Do we have the cost? Is investing in technology going to bring that ROI, that return on investment? Or is it not needed? How often is it needed? That would be the next question. Okay, well, let's look at this realistically. Do I need to update my hardware or do I just need to update software? Is my hardware completely out of date or is it compatible? Software updates happen quite frequently. Hardware updates, they do too, but are they as necessary? Now, thinking about just like use regular technology as a general baseline as well. Okay, before cell phones couldn't take photos, then they could. Now they've gotten better. But I might have one that can still take a cell phone photo, but it's just not a great photo. Somebody else has a much more advanced one that takes a great photo. Now, this one, the new one, costs, X number of dollars, but I get much better product. Is it worth it? Or am I still getting in the end right now, same product, similar product, and I don't need that investment? Do I still have the applications that I can help modify my photo after I've taken it and filter it and adjust it? Whether it's on the old one or the new phone, that's quite an investment. So thinking about where our investments needed, what do we monitor? Let's go back into our report. All right, integration, right? Operators need those solutions to integrate the current system and scale as their brands grow. How when you're upgrading new systems, what's your staff's response going to be like that? How big, these are things that you want to be thinking about. Okay. And then of course, customer experience, labor costs, loyalty game, as we discussed, and then just tapping into all that extra data. So with advancements in technology and upgrades, maybe we're able to access better data. Maybe I'm not getting that much of a big difference on my data. I'm getting my sales report at the end of the day every day, and I know what I'm selling. Is it that important? What's important? What's out there? Where's the hardware and the technology advancements that we needed? Okay. Now, again, look at this. What operators want from new tech, right? Cost, functionality, integration. The rest, troubleshooting, data collection, other security, not as important, right? There's definitely value placed on those, but what it is, how well does it function? What does it cost? And how can I integrate it? Boom. Those are going to be your breaking points, right? That's where you're going to put it. Well, the cost is really high and it doesn't function that well. It doesn't sound like that's a great investment. Cost is really high and it functions beautifully. Okay. It's going to streamline operations, going to reduce cost, improve sales, increase sales, overall sales, right? Technology advancements are ways to look for increase in sales, right? You're looking for teeny little loopholes anywhere that it can be found. I think I brought up that, let me see if I can bring this one up. I'm pretty sure that I told it could have been last block, but this is pretty wild. And I'm going to give you an example of this one. And maybe if I did cover it, it'll jog your memory. But this is about an establishment that implemented a new program. And even though the food waste reduction and sales and incorrect write-ups, tickets, receipts, was a small percentage that they improved. If you think about what that financially means, 1% of, a million is a lot. 1% of 10 is 1. Doesn't sound like it's that much, right? But 1% of a million starts to really add up. Okay, let me get this. It was a fast food establishment. Let me just try to rack my brain really question. Any questions on material that we've covered so far? Feel free to put that in chat as I look for this one really quickly. Let me see. I think I might be on it. Well, I don't think I'm going to have the exact article. If I can find it later, I will send it out. But let me show you this. This is in the same wheelhouse, and it'll give you some facts and data. And now I'm not saying that video recording is the answer, but what I am saying is video monitoring happens a lot in a lot of chain restaurants, and that's to protect everybody, actually. And when I say everybody, I literally mean everybody, from the employees. We know that this world is a crazy world. Things happen all the time. Crazy things happen all the time. So it's a way for both customers and employees to potentially feel comfortable or safe that everything's being reported, right? But also allows the company then, hey, I'm keeping an eye on you. You bringing up those sales correctly? Are you adding extra orders of fries to your friend that comes in? Are you accidentally taking some food, stealing, theft, right? There's a video camera, your staff might be more likely to not steal, right? Because we know, unfortunately, a lot of people working in the restaurant industry sometimes have not the greatest pay and are living check to check. And sometimes, that's what happens, right? It's a real thing. So this is talking about how videos have changed really the landscape. Now, what do we think the cost and, implementation forces that? All right. But now, here we go. Better customer experience. Okay. Using video data has long been discussed, right? But now it's real world application. after the pandemic. Stakeholders are motivated by the ability to use data to heighten the possibility of a positive guest experience. For instance, systems can alert staff when no one is at the host desk or registered and turned guests are not waiting for too long. Oh, that's another great one. Boop, boop, boop. We've got a guest standing at the front desk. Nobody's there. We need to go get there, right? Staffing levels and occupancy, keeping that, security and food safety. But here's also another important thing here that I just found this as well as I was going through, right? So 5 reasons why restaurant security cameras are critical. Again, this would be quite a big investment. Are we running on CCTV? What's tracking and recording this? What's the system? How many video cameras do we need? How big of our establishments? Who's overseeing that? How is that running? What happens if it goes down? Who's making sure that it doesn't go down? What does that cost? All right. These are questions we're going to be thinking about, but drastically and positively affect a restaurant's bottom line. And we know, what are we always looking for? Bottom line, right? Check this out. These are just some statistics that I wanted to bring because I think this brings here. Okay. This is from 2015. Okay. Theft from businesses by employees alone. Now U.S. businesses, not restaurants specifically, but it says businesses, U.S. business alone, 50 billion, right? 7% lost to theft or fraud. Percent of employees have stolen at least once to their employee, 75%. Well, that seems really ridiculously high. Maybe, I don't know about that, but we think about this increase in internal theft from entry, right? This is going to reduce that. Stealing cash and tips, having evidence for slip and fall. Lawsuits, big time, right? Because that could be huge. I slipped and fell at work. Now I'm out of work and I'm suing you. Well, we've got proof that it didn't, or we do, or what happened, right? And then keeping track of actual work time. So there's a lot to think about and a lot to consider. And there's, a lot of factors on the table with all of this information. But that is what we're looking for. Analyze it, break a case. What do you think? Should they invest? Should they upgrade? Is it both? Are they necessary to do both hardware and software upgrades? What is that forecast looking like for the future for restaurant industry? Let's finish strong. If you have questions, let's reach out ASAP. I will be grading today, tomorrow, and probably Saturday, and then definitely Sunday and Monday. So let me know if you have any questions. Finish strong. Double check all your work. Make sure that you're good to go. And have a absolutely wonderful and restful summer break. And don't forget to come back to class July 12th. And take care, be well, and finish strong. Bye.